So I don't know if it's just me, but was 3D modeling for CAD ever this fun? Though I still don't know what half the tools and options I'm looking at actually mean, as well as the fact that there are people out there who can make whatever this is without even trying. None seems to beat the fun of just figuring out how to add that one feature to your design, especially when you're still learning the ropes, like me. That type of fun, which is a feeling I've come to realize isn't actually fun. It's a little weird to say the least. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. My journey improving these skills still has some ways to go, and by some I mean a lot. Anyways, let's get into a few of the mini projects that got made by me to see if this 3D modeling is all I've cracked it up to be, or maybe I'm just tripping. Now, before you can actually go into creating a design, you've got to actually choose something to make. Luckily, there are loads of videos and tutorials online, which is nice, but it can be a little much. So I decided to stick to a tutorial series by Alex's Engineering, which just has a couple designs done out for you. This kept things simple with practical projects and easy to follow tutorials in case I'm stuck, which shouldn't be the case. So before getting into the first design, I didn't really know what to expect going in, but let's just say I was a little underwhelmed. Also, we're gonna name this design Timmy, because why not? Anyways, making this bracket was actually quite simple. To be honest, I've done a little CAD myself in school, since I'm kinda sort of a first year engineering student, but it was quite fun actually just getting my feet wet without having to jump straight into the heavy stuff. Just a few 3D extrudes here and there, as well as a few circles to cut out with the extrude cut, and bam, Timmy was born. Real quick, an extrude is pretty much taking a drawing you made and turning it into a 3D shape, while the extrude cut uses your shapes drawn to put into other 3D shapes. Now you probably know what all that means, but I hope I explained it a little bit. You can let me know in the comments below. Now, when it came to the next design, named Alex, I was looking forward to getting into it. She actually looked like something you'd make for real, you know, like an actual engineering design. Wait, why is this kind of weird?
What do you gain from that?
Okay, maybe we don't go too far with this naming thing. Anyways, before I get started with the design, I had to look at the drawing sheet to get a feel for what I was actually making. By the way, if you don't know, a drawing sheet is pretty much just a blueprint for the design, which has all the measurements on it, as well as giving you a better idea of where things go. I'm gonna be so real, I found this sheet to be quite a step up. There was just a little more going on than I was used to, but after a few minutes of having no idea what was going on, got the basic gist of it. The main things for getting Alex to work was creating the shape for the bars, which I did by using a combo of drawing circles and lines with a circular pattern to copy everything around. But these outer rim things for the pulley rope was a bit of a pain. After drawing out the shape, I tried to use a revolve extrude, which is pretty much the same as an extrude, but pops out the shape about an axis, which creates this cool circular shape. Pretty nice, right? Too bad I'm a little cooked. Man, I don't know what it is, but it took me way too long to figure out that the drawing for the revolve had to be at the axis it was revolving about, or something like that. So it took me a minute, but we've had to fix up the shape and bam, we got it working. I'm already starting to miss the feeling of grass though. Seriously, I really like this one as it got me used to more detailed designs, but also it was nice figuring out how to make it on my own without having to look through some tutorial or something. After finishing that project, I was ready for the next one, Sven, which happened to look a little like a lock. Anyways, I started by creating the base for Sven to stand on, then added a couple holes which I'm guessing would be used to fix it to a surface. Moving on to Sven itself, I learned a pretty valuable lesson here. As cliche as it is, slow and steady really does win the race. I really found myself just taking my time reading the drawing sheet and slowly adding each feature piece by piece. This made the whole process a lot easier, which is something I'm going to try to apply to the rest of the projects going forward. Slowly but surely, it all came together, except for two holes which I just couldn't figure out, but I don't think it's that deep, so it is what it is. Brother, I genuinely have no idea what this is meant to be. You know what, it didn't even deserve a name, but either way, it seemed like it'd be a design that'd be nice to practice on. Now, the overall design mainly consisted of a couple different shapes drawn on various planes. You can think of planes being different canvases to draw your shapes on, like a painting, but generally, I found this design to be overall surprisingly easy. Actually, maybe a little too easy. It had me low-key questioning if I was really that guy. Sadly, I'm not that guy, as you're about to find out. Now this looks more like an actual engineering piece, even if it might just be some tiny whiny part of a huge machine. Still pretty cool. I think Jemima sounds about right. The start of this wasn't too bad anyways, just getting the general shape of the design down. On a side note, drawing sheets are gone now. They've seemed to just disappear from most of the videos going forward now, but that's fine. Just had to take a quick screenshot and drawing sheet. Too bad the sheet wouldn't save me from my incoming headache. Ribbon. It's a nifty technique that I still don't fully get, but if I'm right, it lets you create 3D shapes which can curve along other curved surfaces, and you can make these shapes from literally just lines that touch off whatever surfaces you want the shape to be on, and bam, you have a rib. And again, this one was a bit of a struggle. Here it was just me kind of trying to figure out why things worked the way they did. So yeah, it was a little frustrating, but all around fun learning the new skill. It was almost like I had leveled up or something. Apart from the ribbon though, everything else was pretty chill for the most part, but the ribbon, that was not the most important part. What was most important was color, baby!
Yeah,
I hope you can
baby!
tell that I'm not an artist, but I think the gray silver made it look a little nicer. I think. Out of all the projects I've done till now, this one, or rather Carl, was by far the weirdest one. I don't know, it was just one of those ominous drawings where you just don't know what you're even looking at, apart from it just being a bunch of shapes that is. What jaded me on this one were the missing dimensions that I just couldn't find no matter how hard I looked. I personally think that they might have been added by accident or whatever, but it's cool. Nothing bad towards the channel I got it from, it just made things a little confusing. Even after getting that part down, I just couldn't figure this one out as a whole. The curve between the two circles was just beyond me, so I hopped back on YouTube, defeated, and watched how to do it. What I was missing was the 3-point arc, which pretty much lets you make arcs or curves. I guess that's about it. But at this point, I was feeling pretty disappointed with myself for not being able to get it to work on my own. I guess I just thought I was ready for it, or I could have done it by myself. So I gave it a shot by trying to use the 3-point arc between the two circles, and it worked. And that's where it hit me. Making stuff in CAD can be really fun, but at the same time, extremely frustrating. The project you're looking at being a prime example. Again, I just found this one to be quite tough at the start, but I think it's that tug of frustration and fun that creates something even more valuable in my opinion. That thing being joy. The joy of figuring out things on your own, making it make sense to you, and watching yourself improve and grow. I don't think it's just for us CAD ones either. I just made that up, didn't I? But really, it can be applied to all parts of life. Sure, it tends to be a little rough, especially when you're just starting off. I know I felt this for sure when I was created to this. Well, I don't know. That feeling at looking at your finished piece, even if you had to give up and come back the next day, there's really nothing like it. So yeah, computer modeling with CAD really is a ton of fun, as well as being quite a pain in the ass. But it's the love, or should I say joy, of the game that keeps me coming back for more. And also, I really need to get good at this so I can get a job. So yeah, CAD is pretty joyful, I guess, but that doesn't really roll off the tongue as easy, so hence the title. Anyways, thank you for listening.